Hi, I'm Mauricio Ranova. My friends call me Mao. In software development, we follow the Agile methodology, which is based in 2-week sprint comparing to a waterfall. Every morning, each member of the team describes what they are working on and asks for help if they are getting blocked. It is important to have a moderator doing a round robin so each member has a chance to speak and avoid people talking over each other or someone feeling not heard, especially when working remotely. Once a week, there is a planning meeting or grooming meeting where user stories get reviewed and estimated. Requirement gathering must be formal and approved rather than informal and coming from a peer that just had a good idea to avoid conflict of interest. At the end of the sprint, there is a feedback session where the team discusses what went well, what didn't go well, etc. I recommend to give the feedback in private first and give the developer the opportunity to improve. If it doesn't improve after giving it a chance, then bring it up in front of others. No backstabbing. It is important to write down the feedback in a diary. List your own accomplishments for your annual review. Speak up, let others know what you're thinking, how would you like things to be, and always clarify why. You can create a matrix comparing the strengths and also a list of technologies that you will ever use for a job description to hire new developers or for onboarding and training. Also list soft skills like communication, leadership, then use these metrics to choose who gets promoted. Be careful, if you promote the wrong leader, the entire team will resign. The team is always changing with developers joining, getting promoted, and sometimes leaving. It is important to have a clear understanding of each role and responsibility. An action workload diagram may help to identify roles and responsibilities of each role. The revolving door of developers over the time can have 3 different costs. The cost of productivity when the team still needs the developer, the cost of recruitment, and the cost of training and onboarding. This is why the maturity of the team is so important. In software development, there are 3 different types of projects: new development, maintenance, and production support. When onboarding a new developer in a maintenance project, it is important to have a smaller proof of concepts to learn the technology first, rather than trying to learn everything at once. You can start a community of practice, for example, every Friday at the end of the day, to share ideas, bring up innovation, and to develop soft skills like influence and leadership. You can create Slack channels like music or entertainment or just a food channel to bring the team together. A leader needs to be patient and kind and have a good sense of humor. A coach should make others feel like they are learning and they are being respected, rather than criticized and being compared as lesser than the others. There should always be a senior and a junior, like a Jedi Master and Padawan. So everybody has the opportunity to teach something and to learn something from a coach. Also, to avoid conflict of interest and to ensure the continuity of the project. Rushing can be a big problem, especially when getting close to a release date. It is recommended to have a code freeze a few days before the demo. When using version control, commit often, but push only to the branch after testing for at least half an hour. You can use feature toggling to turn on and off functionality in production when doing a dark release. A code review should always include unit testing. If the person reviewing the code is downloading the branch and running it locally, he might be micromanaging. This is okay when onboarding a new joiner, but this shouldn't be the norm. During code reviews, some refactoring may be required. In case of a difference of opinion, it can be treated as a suggestion, but ultimately is the developer's choice, or the senior developer can impose his own or her own coding standards. Or the team can agree on creating a new user story labeled as tech debt and prioritized to be worked on when the business allows it. This way, we prevent creating an endless cycle of chasing the new shiny and postponing the release. Coding is somehow an art. There are many ways to achieve the same goal. You can create a website using plain old vanilla JavaScript, Angular, React, Vue, ASP.NET, Ruby, or Python. The new shiny right now is React with server-side. It is incorrect to say that there is only one way to do things and it happens to be my way. It is recommended to work one user story at a time, in sequence. But some developers may start working more than one user story in parallel, especially when they get blocked for reasons that are outside of their control, which may result in hardening sprints. This should be communicated properly to avoid losing trust in the developer. Perception is reality. The developer may be perceived as a low performer or leaving low priority bugs for later. If possible, do the demos in dev environment and only push to a QA environment when you are ready to go to production. During a demo, it is important to use labels as dev environment, QA environment, or minimal value product MVP to avoid giving the impression that something is completely finished and already in production when it's not. Or stakeholders may be focusing too much on styling when you want them to discuss about the functionality. Sometimes it is difficult to be a leader and be coding at the same time. An option can be to reduce the coding of the leader to 50% or to only do the code reviews. Somebody that is coding at 100% of the time may get frustrated while reviewing other people's code because coding requires a lot of research and they may want to spend their time on their own code. Every project is unique and we are constantly learning rather than doing the same thing over and over. To succeed, it is very important to show your team that you really appreciate them because work can get very stressful at times. And it is important to celebrate their successes and have a forgiving personality.